this meeting to order. Our regular board meeting, September 12th, 2022. We will stand, say the Pledge of Allegiance, and a moment of silence, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now for people who signed in for whether they want to speak. We got that.
It's weird that we can see. No, but it's not all of us.
We'll get you later. There's Tim. Mr. Gear, we may need your assistance. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We're going to start the meeting anyway. So, seeing that everybody that's signed in, there is no one that wishes to speak on any agenda item here. Is there anybody online that would like to speak on any of the agenda items? Please raise your hand so we know. If not, we will move on.
They can't hear you.
Okay, thank you. I did my
So we
best.
may, if we get,
Yeah. We'll,
after the public.
right. Okay, first order of business. Need to amend the agenda, and by doing this, we actually will need to take a roll call first. To all's here. Please state your name, and whether you're in person or online, we will get to Tim in a minute. Mr. Owens, you want to start, please?
Zach Owen here.
Okay,
Mike Reese, present.
okay, thank you. Rick Swartzkopf here,
Steve Meyer, present.
thank you.
Gil Smith, present.
Thank you. Mr. Nipple is not here or online. Mr. Strasser is on, but we are trying to get him. If nothing else, if we can hear him. Tim, are you there? Okay. Tim says he will not be able to attend. Okay, all right, thank you.
While we're waiting, can we introduce our student
Yes, actually, that would be great.
who are very excited to introduce themselves. I know who they are, but we want to make sure everybody else does. Stand up. And there's a big crowd just for you.
Camera.
There's not normally this many people here.
Okay. I'm Ella Abbott. I'm the class co-president with Evan, and then I'm in National Honor Society, Student Council, and SAC. Hello, I'm Evan Royal. Like she said, we're class co-president. I play sports, basketball, softball, and volleyball. I'm also part of NHS Student Council. And
We're happy to have you.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we need to amend the agenda, so I need approval to amend the agenda, and as Mr. Otis says, since Mr. Strasser will not be attending, we do not have to do it as a roll call. So, need a motion to amend the agenda, please.
Move that we accept the amended agenda as presented to us.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Got a motion and a second. Any discussions, questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, we are now to the public hearing part of our 2023 budget for the resolution for our capital project and plan, and also the resolution for the bus replacement plan. Mrs. Circle, if you'd like to
So in your packets, you should have 3 different items. One of the items is the actual budget for the public hearing. You should have that. Then you should have the capital projects and the bus replacement plan. Okay, first of all, on the public hearing for the tax, if you take a look at this, when I did this budget, I went with last year's AV and went about 15% lower on that, just to make sure that we safeguard, in case AV goes stagnant. You'll also notice that I had to add in the referendum. So that is in there. We do that just in case if the referendum does get voted by our community and passes, then that will move forward. If not, it will be taken off when they do our budget. They'll just absorb anything that's not in there that doesn't get passed. Rainy day, you can see, I'm going to talk a little bit later about that. We had an appropriation of $719,000 last year. We weren't sure exactly why that was on there, so I'm cleaning this up a little bit. We're going to do a resolution, and so we're going to have $500,000 for the appropriation for that. That's just for emergencies, not planning to spend it, but we need to make sure that we have that on there. You can see our debt service is in there. As we talked in the work session, I did add, just in case the referendum does not pass, if we need to do a school loan for $500,000, that's included in that debt service amount. Again, if everything goes forward, that will not be spent, that'll just fall off of there. But we need to make sure that we have everything covered. The education account, obviously, that does not come from taxes, so that is going to be based on our ADM, and our ADM is going to be, the numbers they're due on Friday. It'll take a couple of weeks for it to actually be accurate from the state. We currently are down in enrollment. We were 1387 in last fall at this time, 1377 in the spring. We are now at about 1351 to 1355. It's a significant loss. That is something that we need to be very aware of, and we need to make sure that we're aligning our budget, because that's quite a bit of money that comes from the state. It doesn't have anything to do with the property taxes, but it does have to do with the fact that do realize that our education fund, we take $1 million out of that. We've been transferring that in operation so we can make our budget balance with the operation. Part of the loss of students, major part was we did have a larger class that graduated. So the classes behind are smaller. We've had some transfer students that no longer say they can take gas and afford to come. We have some students that have moved due to housing, have gone into the Tippecanoe County School District. And honestly, our classes coming in are smaller. So that's where we stand with the enrollment. So that's probably the biggest impact in this budget. And then operations, and as you know, this is estimated. These tax rates are going to be a little bit higher because I used a lower assessed value when I calculated this, and then what will happen is we'll clean all that up when we actually get our enrollment and everything else. The capital projects is a form that we must do. So this is, everybody has their capital projects. I talked about this in the work session. It kind of is a little ironic because we are so close with our operations, to the point that we have to move money from education into operations, that trying to even come up with capital projects that we can afford is just kind of tight. So I did put some needs on here, as you see. We have to do this for a 3-year out, our goals. And so many of these are things that we need, like carpet, floor replacement, technology, some of those. So anyone has questions on that? And finally, we have the bus replacement, which we are in good spot with the bus replacement because we got caught up. As we talked about last time, we had 6 buses we purchased in 1 year, and then we had to, we're in that process of trying to replace them. So we are actually getting caught up on the bus replacement and are in a good spot. So, any questions? So I guess I could tell you the buses were sold. We did sell those 3 buses, it was right around $19,000 busing station. That sounds low to me, but Ross said that was amazing.
A lot higher than normal.
Yeah, I know, it seems really low, but you said that was awesome, and Andrea looked and said, yep, that was pretty good, so there's a lot, I just threw out you questions on any of this.
So, anybody from the public, has any questions? This is a public hearing, and you have the right to ask questions about this, about the budget here. Seeing none, we will move on. We will close the public hearing at this point. Okay, back to our regular agenda. Approval of minutes for August 8th, 2022, for regular, the August 8th work session minutes, and August 17th, the executive session to certify we talked about what was advertised. Any motion?
I move to approve the approval of the minutes for the August 8th regular meeting, the August 8th work session, and the August 17th executive session.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. Any corrections, additions to the minutes? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, reports. Mrs. Circle.
To me, first of all, I just want to tell you, we do have a program, this mobile dentist comes to our school corporation, and it's becoming quite popular. A lot of our students are serviced with that mobile dentist, so I just threw that in there because they're coming on September 30th, and they do a wonderful job, and it's just growing, so I really love that program. School accountability came out, it really only came out for K through 8. I just kind of want to highlight, we were doing really great in some areas, such as English language proficiency. Chronic absenteeism, we exceeded expectations on there, so our programs that we've been using with getting students to come to school are doing great. We were approaching expectations in a lot of the factors, the ELA test scores, the math test scores. The one area that we need to meet expectations that we are not there is the closing the math gap, achievement gap. We are hoping that with the adoption of the textbooks and then doing curriculum alignment and doing professional development where we are talking across the grade levels, planning pre-K through 12, that's going to help with that gap that we have. So I just wanted to share that to you because that will be coming out here at the end of the month from the IDO. Active shooter drill. Mr. Long I have appointed him as our corporation safety specialist, and in true Mr. Long fashion, he is like all over this, and is going to be having, you're trying to get an active shooter drill coming up. I'm putting you on the spot, anything you want to add about that?
Kevin and I have been working together on that, along with Officer Bernhardt we've got a meeting Wednesday, I think about it, with the gentleman, what's his name, Kevin?
Dan Rodeball.
Dan Rodeball, kind of walk us through, walk through the building and give us some ideas about the different levels of intensity that we can do, how much, and kind of what we can do within the realms of our school and school day. That'll start the process of picking a day and then kind of move forward with that.
Thank you for doing that. We're also having someone walk through and look for tornado safety, correct?
Yes, we did that today. Looked at the building structure. Instead of everybody going down to the gym, gave us some different ideas for quicker response. If something was immediate that we're not trying to get some kids to the gym area. So we're working on that with his input from today.
We are transferring money from education education fund to rainy day fund. We are gonna be transferring $117,000. That will bring us up to rainy day of $567,492. We are planning on, putting another $117,000 in December. That is actually coming from the certified, no,
58.5.
58.5, did I get my number wrong? Okay.
We were gonna do it every quarter, but we missed the June, so we're making up right now.
So we'll do another 58.5. Thank you for catching me. And that actually is our, certified shares. They come into our education fund, because technically you can do that. So we decided, rather than move them, we decided to put them into rainy day, instead of trying to help build that out. We're also, doing another payment of money transferred from the education operation. So we will be doing 500,000, which again, we're catching up, because we missed a quarter on that one. So that is what I have. For any questions on superintendent report?
Going back a month or so ago, is there any insurance claim for my license, right?
We are having a horrible time trying to get quotes. Literally trying to get quotes. So we are waiting on that. I mean, we just literally had Mohawks in. We couldn't get them until this last week. So right now though, amazingly, our deductible is what, 15,000, Andrea? And everything so far, between 4 computers and, we lost a server. We think it's gonna all fall under $15,000. So, yeah. But we're still trying to get quotes. It's amazing how long this takes you people into get quotes. So, we are on it. So good question. Anything else?
No, I was just gonna ask that mobile dentist, does that give the community a chance to not travel to the dentist, or how does that work?
Yeah, and kids don't miss as much school. So they can go like right out, because usually it's a half day to get to the dentist. So it's really, it has increased dramatically. I should have asked Katie, now on that corporation perhaps, what our numbers are up to, but it really does a nice job of servicing our students on that. So you'd be amazed at how many, when it first started, when I was at the high school, how many students hadn't been to the dentist in probably 4 or 5 years, and went to the dentist for the first time. I mean, it's a good program.
Did they go to all 4 buildings
Yeah.
in the one day?
Yeah, I believe it's on September 30th, I don't know, I'll have to ask Katie, because I'm questioning myself if we can be, but I know that they're on this campus. They do on the same day or?
I don't, same day, I do.
Anything else? Before we bring up our special ed, our high school, any questions on the principal reports from Camden Early Childhood, the elementary, the middle school, and the high school? Questions on those board reports, gentlemen? Okay.
Thank you for them.
I love to introduce, Beth stands here at this time, and she is Mari Reef and Abby Wagler, that are gonna do a presentation for us.
The rest of the staff and Ajane are gonna do the presentation.
Oh yes, and Ajane, my favorite students here too.
I just want to say thank you, first of all. This has been a massive undertaking to start an entirely new program, especially when the building was under construction this summer. We have waited for materials and supplies, and these ladies have been incredibly patient and hardworking, and they have really started to build a great program for our students. So I'm excited to see. I've seen some of the presentation, and Mrs. Reef was still putting together some other pieces when I was in the other day, but they've worked very hard, and when you walk into their classroom, you see lots of different things going on. There's a wide variety of student needs, and they're working tirelessly to make things work.
I know starting a new program is never easy.
I was gonna say, we get plenty of sleep. We sit there and compare what time we fall asleep at night, so, at this point, so.
Emer, are you able to pull up your presentation?
We have some really good photos for you.
I know. So I'm gonna make things figure stuff.
Are
You have a presentation up?
It's in our board docs.
So before we get started though, if she'll come around here and introduce herself really quick.
Hello, my name's Ajne, and I am in the room with Wagler and Reese, and they like helped me a lot, and like the stuff that we got, like the new stuff, is actually helping me a lot with, like the Oracle outlet helps me like learn how to like handle money and like what would a job really do. And in Wagler's room, it is really, really like a good like environment for me and everyone else in that classroom. And so I am very thankful for all the help that you guys have given us.
Thank you.
Ajani's are one of our 2 seniors for this year, so working on her last year. So, yep, if you want to go ahead with our brand new outlet.
Okay, so in 2019, Mr. Sims and Mrs. Circle sent me over to Carroll High School to visit what was then the Cougar Paw Shop, which is no longer in business, I just found out, which inspired me to open the Oracle Outlet, and 3 years later, here I am. The Oracle Outlet is special needs ran along with all members of the student body. NHS, football players, FFA guys, just everybody that I could pair them up with. Last year I started a peer mentor program, so I based off pairing up a student with a member of the student body that would work well with them. And the students are given a schedule and they go down there every period. There's a schedule in the store. They're paired up with their peer mentor and they learn how to take orders. I created a link for every member in the high school and sent that out, the online order form, and every student can just click on that order form and it takes it right to the Oracle Outlet, and it brings up everything that is offered in the store along with a picture, and the kids are able to visually see what is there and place that order and fill that order, and students are able to pick that up online. During themed weeks, we have Evan and Ella that get with me and let me know what the theme is, and I order stuff for themes like Neon Night or Black and Gold Night or Adam Sandler Night.
That was interesting.
That was very interesting. And we order stuff, and the students can order those things online as well and pick those up. We do have spirit sponsors. There have been some very generous people throughout the community that have donated, and if you go through the slideshow, you can pull it up. This just kind of tells what our life skills offer, our future goals, our running water, cash register, a couple open signs. That's something I'm working on right now, and hopefully we'll get there. And as you can see, we had the wonderful Cervantes brothers from years ago donate their time to paint our storefront windows, and they were our first sponsor of the evening, and all the students there that work in the shop are pictured in front of it. And you can see the girls every period working. If they're in the outlet and there are no orders, it's their study hall time. They work with their peer mentor, and their peer mentor in turn helps them with their homework. And the famous Andy Hernandez. Who does not love Andy Hernandez? He is quite the character. And you can see him putting things together in the outlet store and organizing and filling orders. You can go ahead. And not only do I do just the student body, but every week I have a sponsor, the spirit sponsor for the theme nights. I pull a member from the art class, and they decorate a board that Mrs. Wagler gave us to whatever they want, and it tells us who the spirit sponsor is for the week. And that was our first spirit sponsor, was the Cervantes brothers, and I believe there's another picture in there from last week's. That again is just more students working, and again more students working. And then I pulled another art student, which was Mrs. Salyer, former retired teacher, and that was another student. And not only do I pull the art students, but the whole school is involved in this, and I think you guys will attest how fun it is when you go there and see the kids working in there. And Chip also gives us a shout out from the Spirit sponsor during the football games. Just a free shout out for those who Spirit sponsor us. So, and that whoever is the Spirit sponsor helps purchase those Spirit items for the shop. It's been a lot of fun. There's still some kinks, but there's some great skills going on there. Money management, social skills, peer skills. It's a good thing, and if you ever get the chance, last week I had a teacher come in and purchase headphones for every one of his students. It's a really good thing. So I encourage you to stop by in the high school sometime and just take a peek and see what's in there. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been a long time coming, but I think it's something the school's really going to benefit from for the special needs.
Okay, and then in conjunction with her, our life skills program that we have is based down in the ag wing. We have, instead of one room like the ag teachers have, we get the two, so we get the luxury suite back there if you want to go up some. So what I'm trying to do with the life skills program, I'm mainly hitting on 3 different areas with it. If you want to go up a little bit more. We're hitting daily living skills, social skills, job skills, health and nutrition, community awareness, and finances. So all of our lessons that we do are based on all this. And if they are doing an English lesson, it is not a reading a novel or answering questions or anything. It is actually stuff that they're going to be doing out when they are independent. Today we were filling out a form for, birth certificate form. So they were given information, and then they had to actually fill in a form that would be for a birth certificate. So the money management, we're working on that so that they can transfer that over to the Oracle outlet or any job that they have. The future goals of the program right now, we're pretty nicely set up, but at some point we have a rolling kitchen right now that we're having to use. So when we go to cook or whatever, it kind of has to be within what we can do within our little tiny oven and our grill and stuff like that. So to have maybe a kitchenette back there would be wonderful at some point. Washer and dryer, we have access to those right now, but to have them right there in our room so that the kids can be doing like sports jerseys and stuff, doing some of the washing of that stuff would be great. The handicap bathroom, we actually have a student that came in this year that's autistic and has to be supervised at all times. So he's actually using the female restroom back there because we have to go in, and since we don't have a male aide, we're having to use that. So at some point we're probably going to have to look at that just for safety issues. And then I know this was actually from Beth Stansberry. I put it into the budget for later for a therapy dog. I did ask Mrs. Circle if we could, have Sassy come in, but she said, yeah, she's not there yet. So, your dog, no thank you. So that's what some of our future program goals are, where we're going. And then some of these we're taking over the last few weeks of the students doing stuff. Mrs. Reef keeps teasing me that I'm going to have the Amazon rainforest there in my windows eventually by the end of the year. The kids love plants. They're taking care of them. I know I had talked to Mr. Schwarzkopf. In the spring, we're going to have 2 big metal troughs, yes, and we're going to actually do raised garden beds for the students because we do need to have it wheelchair accessible, so it's raised up more. And then we're actually going to plant stuff that in the fall the kids can make their own salsa as one of our recipe or cooking days. So we have lots of stuff. Okay, this picture over here to the left, we were supposed to be doing yoga. I'm not sure what the student next to me was doing. That was not the yoga pose we were doing, but I think she was done by that
That's
time.
Wagner, you can tell.
Yeah. So we actually do have to do adaptive PE in there. So it gets interesting what we choose to do. Yoga is not their favorite. We did an abs day one day. That was hilarious. It was only 10 minutes, and I think I had 2 out by the end of it, and there was only 3 of us left doing abs. So we do have some sensory stuff. We have a swing in there. We have a full, I don't know if it's in any of the photos, we have a full living room set up for the students that they can have different seating and stuff. And we have to look at, it's funny, they pick their specific seats, and that's it, of what they're comfortable. Like we have a chair that kind of presses you in more, and we have certain students that like that. One one of our students has taken the whole couch. No one else gets to sit on that for some odd reason. He's decided. So, if you go up a couple more.
Very good.
Okay, that is not the student that has done the couch, but he got the other student off, so he said he was going to lay on it. So, and there we have Mrs. Bigler offered us a fish tank. So we've actually named all our guppies last week, so we're taking care of some fish as well. Mr. Walker said we should get a guinea pig, that they're really social. So I'm not sure about that one yet. So. Okay, and then just working, we do crafts and stuff with it. That I brought in some buckeyes for the kids. They had never seen buckeyes, so they were getting to see that. And then I think that was maybe the abs day. The kid in the pink, yeah, he was out within like 2 minutes. He wasn't going to do it anymore, so. And then there's Andy trying out a canoe that we have. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and then that is all the kids cooking. When they cook, it's pretty much, I have them do the directions. I bring in the supplies, and they pretty much cook and follow directions themselves. So, it is amazing to watch these kids working together. So, anybody have any questions or anything for us? We currently have 9 students right now. We have 10. There's one that comes in just for one period right now. So, we could be up to 10. At any given point, I think we have all 9 of them for at least, we definitely have them for 2 periods and maybe a 3rd period during the day. And then the other times during the day, it's only about 5 or 6, so we can work one-on-one with them, so.
You should get a chance to come visit, because it's
Yes.
quite interesting
Yes.
back there. And
Yes,
no
it
day
is.
is ever the same.
No, never, so.
So I do have a question. Just appreciate the presentation.
Uh-huh.
This is really neat.
Uh-huh.
Mrs. Reef, though, you posted online about the outlet store.
Yes.
Or the Oracle outlet, sorry. Somebody had asked the question, can we purchase through that link as a community?
Yes, absolutely.
And so I think that's something that might be an opportunity as well for you.
Yes, I can share that link online. It'll just connect right to the store, and the kids will see that. I don't know how to work out. That might be something I would have to do. As far as somebody coming in and getting their order, they would probably have to come in because the students couldn't deliver it. But absolutely, they could. I can post that link online, and
Can you get a drink?
you want to put that in the budget? That would be awesome, or a taxi, an
This is
Uber.
a delivery dog.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, the delivery dog.
There you go.
I know you guys are going to be talking about it later, but when the kids are doing their career day later on this month, our kids, a lot of those kids were going to Purdue and IUK and stuff, and we didn't feel that was going to be as accessible for our students, so we have actually reached out to our community, and we have stuff set up with the hardware store, Pizza King, the Canal Center, Stonehouse, for our students to actually go out in the community that day, just like everybody else is doing, to do stuff in the community, so.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it together.
Okay. Now for routine matters, to meet a motion to approve the routine matters 5A through H. What we'll do is get that on, and then we'll go through each individual line if there's any questions.
Do you have any
Oh,
questions on that?
no, I just thought it was subject to the treasury report. So.
No, but if you have any questions.
Okay, well, we're going, I need a motion to approve routine matters 5A through H.
I move we approve routine matters 5 through 8.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All right, so what we'll do is go through here on 5A, that is for monthly payrolls and claims for $1,610,443.97. We have mentor employees there for $500 each, as you can see, as we have that. Employment of our classified staff, employment of the ECA staff, DCMS ECA stipends there. Cafeteria sub-pay raise from $9 to $10 to $11 an hour, basically, is moving them all up to $11 an hour, is that right? Yeah. Resignations there, and then the fundraisers, facility use, overnight and out-of-state building So, any questions on any one of those for Mrs. Circle? Or our treasurer at this point?
Well, I didn't understand. What is account service fee from Verizon Bank? What do they do for that?
It's the monthly service fee we're charged for a bank account. We get interest, but they charge us a service fee.
That's, my terms with Verizon, you got same thing. Part of having a large account with a bank, and you'll see that.
So then I saw there was an account service fee also for cafeteria.
RevTrak,
Yeah.
yeah. The RevTrak charges a service fee for the cafeteria to use the electronic payments and everything.
Any questions? All right, if not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 6C. Okay, on. Sorry guys, got a little out of order here. 6A, B, and C, like to do them all together. Again, we'll do the same thing once we get a, let me read the resolutions, I guess, first, actually, and then we can do that. You want to get a motion to, okay, let's go ahead and get a motion to approve 6A, B, and C, which is resolution to reduce appropriation debt service, to reduce the appropriation in rainy day, and approval to adjust the 2022-2023 budget as needed. Motion, please.
I move to approve the new business, resolutions A, B, and C as presented.
Second. Sorry.
Okay, so the resolution to reduce appropriation for debt service, this resolution is adopted by the Board of Education of Delphi Community School Corporation, Carroll County, Indiana. Whereas a debt service fund has been established, and whereas the Board of Education has determined that not all appropriations from the 2022 budget year will be required due to the credits for scheduled payments, and whereas a category list of appropriations reductions has been prepared is attached as Exhibit A. Now therefore be it resolved, said that the Board of Education, Delphi Community School Corporation authorizes a reduction of appropriation for debt service in the amount of $146,450 as exhibited in A. That's one. Next resolution is resolution adopted by the School Board of Education of Delphi School Corporation, Carroll County, Indiana. Whereas the rainy day fund has been established, and whereas the Board of Education has determined that not all appropriations from the 2022 budget year will be required, and whereas the category list of the appropriation reduction has been prepared and is attached to Exhibit B. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Education, Delphi Community School Corporation authorized a reduction of appropriations for the rainy day fund in the amount of $219,000 as indicated on Exhibit. And then the resolution to adjust the 2022-2023 budget as needed. The resolution is adopted by the Board of Education, Delphi Community School Corporation, Carroll County, Indiana. Whereas it's necessary to have the board action to adjust the budget once the Department of Local Government Finance has reviewed the 2023 budget. And whereas if it is deemed to be in the public and schools' interest to facilitate the timely adjustment of the 2022-2023 fiscal budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Delphi Community School Corporation authorizes the superintendent to make adjustments to the 2022-2023 budgets for required of the Department of Local government finance. Any adjustments to the budget cycle will be presented to the Board of Trustees during a monthly board meeting. So, I need questions at this point for those resolutions. Well, I was gonna ask, see if anybody wanted to. Like,
I figure we probably need some interpretations of that lovely language. The debt service fund, we are reducing that. Basically what happens is we have an appropriation of how much we're supposed to spend. And that was in that last budget cycle, this last year. We are not spending $146,450 because we actually, somehow or another, the interest declined, so our payments on that last bond that we're finishing, we paid it off early. So in other words, we still had $146,000 left. So because we had it appropriated, I need to ask to reduce that appropriation. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's want to make sure everybody understands what we're doing. So that's what that is, and I will have to actually upload that with our budget. The rainy day. This was an interesting one. We last year appropriated $719,000. We didn't have that much money as the appropriation, and I don't know what happened. So I have reduced the appropriation to $500,000 because that's where we're at, which would reduce it by $219 because we actually have that amount. So that was just correcting an appropriation. Does that make sense for everybody?
This is all about appropriation and not actually cash.
Right.
In
That doesn't mean we're gonna spend that, but you need to have your appropriations clean when we upload them, so please ask. if you understand what that means. And then this last one, as we talked about in the work session today, the Department of Local Government and Finance, when they go to review this budget, they will make adjustments. Like we talked about, if the referendum doesn't pass, I have that in the budget, they'll pull that out. So what'll happen is, right in that month of December, they will review it and they will make adjustments to it. So this is giving me permission to go ahead, sign off, to get the budget going, but I will present all the things that got adjusted in the board. But it's a timely matter, so we have not had this resolution, and so I was advised you really need to have this resolution so that you can make sure you're getting this up. Questions on those three resolutions?
no questions, all in favor of the three resolutions, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, next is 6D, adoption policy of 3220.01, and this is actually the teacher appreciation grant that every year we have to adopt and into our policy. So I need a motion, please.
I move to adopt the policy of the 3220.01 teacher appreciation grants.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any questions for Mrs. Circle? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. 6E is we need to adopt a staff evaluation plan, which is actually the RISE part. So can I have a motion to adapt the staff performance evaluation plan for 2022-2023?
So moved.
Second.
They have a motion and a second. Ms. Circle, any additions to what we've been doing in the past as far as the upgrade?
Just our students I've seen in here. This is yearly things that we have to kind of do. So that's why we're doing all this. Yes, so we're supposed to review our, they actually give us a rubric with things that every year they seem to add, that we have included in our evaluation plans. So this year, they added a section that we needed to have in the evaluation plan, the actual process of how we review the evaluation system yearly. Surprisingly, we were already doing this. We had already had a committee and had looked at it. And then we need to present, talk about in discussions, which we talked about in discussions, and then has to go before the board and get approved. So I added that paragraph in there, just to be compliant. The other thing is we had added a extra domain for our special education certified staff. So I went ahead and added that in there. It was not in our plan that we had as of last year. So those were the only two changes made.
Any questions from Mrs. Sipple? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, guys. Okay, the next, guys, I am gonna ask for a motion to approve 6F through P, and then I will go through each one of those, like we did before on the other. So I need a motion to approve 6F through P under new business.
Mr. President, I move we accept items F through P as presented.
Okay, so 6F is our technology equipment for $28,812.61. We'll go through individually. If anybody has a question on that, we will stop and go. If not, we'll go to the other. So any questions on 6F? Mr. Gear's here.
This
Okay.
was for new staff members, correct?
And to replace Carly's from the lightning strike and to replace the other four in the clerk office. Those will be repurposed in the four because our network parts don't work, but the NIC part, the actual LAN parts, were taken out with the lightning strike. So we'll replace all 5 of those, and then yes, the new staff. And the little feeder booth was another one.
Stay right there, Mr. Gear.
All right.
Technology camera server upgrade for $34,760, and that'll be coming out of ESSER 3 money. You want to explain real quick what that is?
So the camera server for the high school and middle school crashed about 2-3 weeks ago. We were without cameras for about a week. The company, the vendor we use, they did come and replace it for us for a day with a spare, and then brought it back. It did crash again 2 days ago, but with a little laying hands on it and prayer, it would come back up after a third reboot. So it's still up and running, but these machines were bought in 2013, 2014. So that's for the high school, middle school, and for the others for the elementary armory. And football fields are covered, and baseball fields and all that as well.
Any questions from Mr. Gear on that one? Okay. H, Curriculum Associates for DCSC iReady for $22,769.60, which includes the Camden Early Childhood for $30,556.80, the middle school for $3,784.80, and the elementary for $15,438. Again, for a total of $22,769.60. Any questions for?
Yeah, what is it?
Assessments, fun things. Part of this is gonna be paid out of the formative assessment grant. Per the state, we are supposed to actually give formative assessments to our students so that we can track to see where they're at. So these are the formative assessments that we've selected.
Is this software or what?
It's software, but it's assessments. You can get online, and then they take these tests and then it collects data and puts them in what their areas of remediation.
Is this an annual expense?
Pretty much. Well, we get a formative assessment grant that pays for the majority of it.
Okay.
I mean, last year we didn't spend all of the grant money that we had. So, I completed the grant, I don't know, in July every year, and it usually covers, the entirety. This year, I think we're a little bit over on this one, would you say, so we may have to.
Well, we're using the money from last year and
2, we use the data also for our dyslexia screening. It's also state mandated. Like Mrs. Circle said, 3, 4, and 5 were mandated to use something. The list is very short. I think it's iReady, IXL, Acuity, and 2 more I don't remember.
If you don't pick out of that list, you do not get the grant.
Just like, any testing.
Yeah, that's.
Any data. Past meetings. Okay, any other questions on that one? All right, I, Delphi Suicide Prevention Response Policy and Procedures.
Oh, it's,
There she is.
yep, there she is.
Oh,
It's
there.
all- it's a big one.
Would you guys like to,
Is there any Anna here?
anything you'd like to comment on?
We just, this summer, we all got together for 3 days, I think it was 3 days, right? And went through the comprehensive resource guide for Indiana to make sure that we were compliant. And we created this policy and prevention response. And it went from us into the hands of the administration, into the hands of Mrs. Circle. I believe Nick reviewed it, and then it came back to me.
And it's excellent. I read through it. I mean,
It was a team effort, and it also included Katie. We had Katie, the school nurse, look at it as well. So we made sure that we were looking at it from all perspectives.
If you have not looked at, there's even a plan, you know, if, how to handle media, you know, what type of situations. Yeah, I mean, you know, because it's important, if we have a suicide issue, I went through one and it was.
Correct.
Yes, it was
It
very
was
difficult.
And our department is relatively new as a whole, so we wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page. We worked hard to do that.
We appreciate that summer effort to bring it up to where we need to be. Any questions?
I do have a question on this. So,
Yes.
as this is listed as a policy, does this fit under Neola in some
It
location?
does, it is Neola, hold on, I got it. Neola policy 5350.
Point, anything?
Pardon? No,
That
it has
is-
points I don't know.
Okay.
But there are 5 different things under that. You can find that on page 3.
And we used that to guide us as
Mhm.
well as
Okay.
the Indiana policy.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Use agreement for the gymnasium at the Pentecostal church is there in the amount of $1,700 a month from October 22nd through March 2023.
October 2022.
Oh, did I say 2023?
You said October 22nd.
Oh, 2022, okay. I'm glad you guys were in.
I think it's just the same thing we talked about last year. We were kind of concerned with the substantial increase, and it's happening again. I guess my concern is how often are we there? I know my electric bill hasn't gone up that much, even with the increase in everything. So that's my concern is what do we get out of this? And I know we're kind of handicapped at some point.
Mr. Dell, would you like to comment? I know you've been in contact with them.
Yeah, so,
Full reasonings.
Pastor Lee Stevens, I would speak highly of him. He's been very helpful to us a few times throughout the year, even when our contract wasn't in. And we had some bad weather in the spring, and he offered for our kids to go, even though we didn't have it. The explanation that he got, this came mainly from what I've gathered from the board at the church. Their electricity's up 30%, 33%, something like that. That's where they're raising the rate again. When I spoke with him, he didn't seem real excited about raising it, but felt like they had to. As far as use, yeah, we have kids there pretty much every day that we've got. Sometimes maybe a Friday or something like that, where our middle school teams are taking days off. That would be a day maybe we wouldn't, but we've got kids in there a lot. Yeah, with our Gym space at the high school, obviously extremely limited for practice, and then the elementary being the next usable one. And you've got, especially January through March, we're trying to do 6 different middle school teams, 2 varsity teams, JV teams, and we're stressed for space.
Even kids are over Camden practicing, so it's
We're
being used all the way through.
plugging them everywhere we can.
Any other questions on that section? All right, the education consultant contract for CECC and DCES for $40 an hour, no more than 8 hours a day, up to 980 hours. Ms. Circle, real quick, would you like to comment on that one?
Yes, we lost our ELTOR, Ms. King left us. So we had no one at the beginning of the school year to do all the WIDA assessments. And we have students that come in at the beginning of the school year, that, especially kindergarten, if they have a home language survey that states something other than English, they have to have an assessment so we can make sure what level they are, because you have to provide by federal law instruction and enrichment for those kids. So our hands were fine, because you have to have the licensing for that to do the testing. So Mr. Hawk found a wonderful lady who, is she home with twins, is that right? Yeah. And so she offered that she would come in and do all of our testing for us on the WIDA assessment. If you would like to make me sound better, you may, Mr. Hawk.
I don't know if I can do that or not, but I can add to what you said. Mrs. Lockman taught kindergarten for North White when I was the principal there. Of course, there's a very high EL population there, nearly 50% of the building. She was the one that was in charge of testing the kindergartners, so it seemed like a really good fit. She's also helping develop the individual language plans.
Any other questions on that one? Number L, MOU for Twin Lakes for special education for $74,880.10. As you guys have received and have in here, it's for services that we normally co-joint with. Any questions on that? Is that a yearly? Annual?
And are they planning on, we already have gained the life skills.
Yeah, we have 5 students left there, so our MOU only continues as long as those students are still in school. Because they'd already started their programming and, we didn't feel like it was in their best interest to move at this point with our new program and the amount of staff that we have. So as each of those students age out or graduate, that program, then eventually this will end, but it will decrease every year for the next couple of years.
Okay, we have, education consultant contract, DCHS. Oh, sorry, skipped one, Title IX. Ms. Circle, you wanna talk this on Title IX?
Well, we have a wonderful new Title IX director. It's Mr. Hawk. So we are making sure we are compliant. So after an enlightening, engaging video, we found some different things that we need to work on. And so Mr. Hawk was gracious to start the process. The first thing is basically making sure that our policies are in line with the regulations. Still
And this
a work
is
in progress.
something else that goes back to Neola 3362 for their anti-harassment. But we define, we're here, and then sort of the next part laid it out, and the next piece is developing a process if somebody files a complaint. And then all of those things get approved and put on the website. So this is sort of the first half.
Thank you for stepping up and doing that. Okay, now for the education consultant contract, for the high school, Mrs. Brummett for $30 an hour, no more than 4 hours a day, and up to 480 hours. And I believe this is for the yearbook. So she has graciously came back and said she would help us train.
She's not gonna totally do the
Well,
yoga.
but train.
Training, there's a lot to it, that you could probably, either one of you teacher who has not taught before in the CTE, so I think they realized as they started digging in how much, and Mrs. Brummett has already been coming and offering her time for free, but we're gonna need her to get us in each of those steps. So next year, it should not be more. Anything else, Mr. Sims, that I can make me once again sound better?
No, I think everybody felt relatively comfortable with the high school yearbook, but what I don't think some of us realized was that Judy was also building the elementary yearbook by herself pretty much, over the years. So when we put all that together, I think Brianna was like, I'm not sure I can do this without a little bit of help. So Judy came to us and said, I'll help, but I can't do it every day for free, so that's where we're at.
It's fairly expensive.
Yeah, well, this, I mean, what was your comment, Steve?
It's kind of expensive, $30 an hour for 480 hours for a yearbook.
Well, she's not gonna be paying that many hours. It's just an open, we actually use the real one. I mean, how many hours has she been in there?
I can't give an accurate answer to that so far.
Versus doing it out of house is cheap compared to if we go out of house and do it like we used to many years ago.
Yeah.
That's the savings.
She's not planning on being here every single day.
The last time I paid a company to do the elementary yearbook, it came out to be like $16.80